Hello everyone, welcome to my Emmerdale channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Emmerdale addresses the audience with promise to end Celia's storyline. When will she be caught out? After a high-stakes visit to Emmerdale on Thursday evening, the emotional closing scene between Marlon Dingle and Ronna Goskirk felt like a not-so-subtle message to the audience. This is going to end. While Celia Daniels' twisted storyline looks set to continue for a little while longer, we may have finally reached the start of the final chapter. It felt like a pact made between the showrunners and the viewers. Hold on tight, because retribution is coming. We just have to be patient, it seems. This week's episodes have featured a long-awaited turning point in Emmerdale's dark storyline, focusing on April Windsor's exploitation at the hands of Celia and Ray Walters. April bravely confided in her dad Marlon and stepmom Ronna about her ordeal, a moment we have been screaming at our screens for. But Celia and Rai still found a way to secure the family's silence for now. "Listen to me," Marlon told Ronna as they reflected on a devastating day. "I accept right now, in this moment I don't know what to do, but if we can protect April and Ivy and Leo, we can at least keep some control." It was a hopeful moment that was needed after such a bleak and yet powerful two-episode in the long-running storyline. Seeing Marlon, usually so anxious and flustered, find this steely resolve was spine-tingling. It is clear that, while they are currently outgunned, the Dingle fightback has officially begun in spirit, if not yet in action. When April previously fantasized about telling Marlon everything in a special episode last month, she imagined a nightmare scenario where her father was immediately killed as a consequence of her speaking out. The real-life version wasn't that much better for anyone involved. April's boyfriend, Dylan Penders, was run over by Rai and left fighting for his life as a punishment for her speaking out. That settles it then. Looks like the criminals haven't been making empty threats all this time. Rai and Celia aren't pantomime villains. They are lethally dangerous. Meanwhile, Queen of Mean Celia focused her efforts on threatening Marlon, Ronna, Leo, and Ivy with dire consequences if April didn't keep working for her. Threatening innocent children like Leo and Ivy is a line that, once crossed, ensures the villain is irredeemable. This feels like a difficult balancing act for Emmerdale. The reality of soaps, with hundreds of episodes to fill each year, is that huge and engaging stories like this often need to rumble on for a long period of time. But the downside here is that the on-screen narrative could almost be seen to confirm April's worst fears. She sought help, and things got worse for everyone. It is a risky narrative choice. Soaps love to highlight the real-life charities and organizations they work with when developing issue-based stories like this. The message is nearly always to reach out and seek support. So it's tricky if the journeys we see on screen show negative consequences when someone speaks out. Fortunately, Marlon and Ronna's heart-to-heart is a clear signpost to viewers that things will ultimately start getting better. We just need to keep watching to see it. And from Marlon and Ronna's perspective, they've clearly made a mistake by choosing to tackle this alone rather than cutting through the manipulation and contacting the organizations that can help. I think this highlights the isolation of rural crime. In the vast openness of the Dales, you can feel completely cut off from help. Emmerdale has done a fantastic job with Ray and Celia's saga, incorporating several characters across the two main story strands, April and Dylan's ordeal, and Beowulf's forced labor on the nearby farm. With the actors playing Ray and Celia quickly establishing themselves as two of the soap's best villains in years, it's perhaps no surprise that Emmerdale bosses want to keep them around for at least a few weeks longer. Their chemistry is electric, a toxic mother-son dynamic that makes your skin crawl. Despite our early fears that April's special fantasy episode would undermine the real-life revelation when the time came, this week's episode saw the soap at its best when with standout performances from the cast in the big scenes. April's terror has been portrayed with a maturity far beyond her years, grounding the sensational plot in real emotion. Having Ronna present for all the key moments was a skillful way to keep the episode fresh compared to the previous dream sequence episode where she'd been absent. Plus, pushing forward the terrifying Celia as the main figure confronting April's family also provided a different flavor to what we'd seen last time. Spoilers released today have revealed that Celia will still be swinging around the village in a few weeks' time, while poor Rona suffers in silence as she watches her oblivious friend Laurel Thomas get close to Rye. This dramatic irony is going to be excruciating to watch. Further ahead, though, there have been hints that Ross Barton could start playing a role in the storyline. Does the fightback start here? And surely someone will think to get resident Hardman Kane involved at some point. If there is one rule in the Dales, it is this: you don't mess with the Dingles. Once Kane finds out, Celia and Ray won't need the police. They'll need a prayer. Fingers crossed.